we did this yesterday, but we're going to give our own predictions, each person here for the AFC and the NFC, our wild card teams, fill out the playoffs, and then who's in the AFC, NFC championships, and our predictions for the Super Bowl before kickoff tonight. Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. Let's start in the AFC. I'll let you go first. AFC, North, South, West, and East. Who do you got?
All right, North, I'm going to rock with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's as easy as, is Joe Burrow going to be healthy? If he is, I think the Bengals take the division. If he isn't, I think he goes another way. So I'm going to stick with the Bengals. I think he goes healthy. AFC West, not going against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think we were in agreement on that. I'm sure you'll echo that sentiment. Yep. AFC South, I'm rolling with the Texans, although I'm kind of gritting my teeth. It's hard for a quarterback to do it in his rookie year and then come back and do it in his second year. But I really like what they have down there in Houston. I really like CJ Stroud. So I'm going to roll with them in the AFC South. And then the East, I'm going with Tua and the Dolphins. They're going to be able to get a home game in the playoffs, which is huge for them. But again, I think the regular season is where they shine. And I think Mike McDaniel gets them over that finish line and gets them into first place in the AFC East.
Okay. I like it. I'm going the North, the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are it, and I think they're going to be good, but I'm not 100% convinced that Joe Burrow is going to last a season. It's that every other year that you pointed out. It's a good role to run with, but I'm going Baltimore Ravens. I feel consistency is key, and that's all I'm looking for here. Consistency is key. It's going to get you one game ahead of everybody else. I'm going Baltimore Ravens. The Kansas City Chiefs is the easiest answer in the whole world. I don't know what their odds are to win, but I would imagine it's like negative 16,000, something crazy like that, because there's just no chance that doesn't happen. Even if Patrick Mahomes went down tonight, I would still bet the Kansas City Chiefs to win that division. Without question, just because it's Andy Reid and the rest of that team, and I think they could get it done. The Houston Texans, I agree with you. There's some concern for a rookie entering his second year. Do you take a step backwards? What happens? There's also equally as much optimism. Is this the Super Bowl year for the Houston Texans? Because that second-year quarterback, that tends to be the one of like, okay, this is when he takes them to the promised land. It happens a lot. And then I'm in disagreement with you with the East. I'm going Bills. I think Josh Allen gets it done. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to have some hiccups. I think they look good, but I don't have any faith in Tua. And until I do have faith in Tua, I'm not going to bet on the Miami Dolphins. I'm going Bills. Josh Allen just seems to win. He doesn't win all the time. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He might not win you a Super Bowl, but he wins in the regular season, and he's a grinder. And I think that they will get the job done then. I'm going Buffalo Bills. The NFC, North, South, West, and East. Who you got?
All right, North, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. I like the Green Bay Packers. I know everybody is high on the Green Bay Packers, but the Lions are a team that have been there and done that. They're a little bit more veteran-laden than the Green Bay Packers are, and I just feel like it's their year once again to take that NFC North. West, same thing as the AFC West. I'm not going with anybody besides the San Francisco 49ers. Open the book, close the book, shut it down. That's an easy answer. South, I'm going with the Falcons. The South has always been a crapshoot in the NFC, at least for the last handful of years. It's been the Bucs division simply because nobody else really wanted to claim it. The Falcons went out. They added a lot of pieces this summer. They got the new coaching staff in. They got the new kind of vibe in there down in Atlanta. So I'm going to take them in the NFC South. And then in the North, or the East is the one I haven't had yet.
The East, the ones that got left.
Something about the Eagles just makes me uneasy. So I'm going to roll with the Cowboys to take the division.
Oh, you're not gonna like my NFC when we get to the wild card here. All right, so the North, I agree with you. I think it's the Lions division. I like the Packers, but Jordan Love only did it for half a season, and I need to see a full season plus some before I'm gonna say he's gonna beat Dan Campbell, bite your kneecaps off, and the Detroit Lions. And I think they got better. I think they got a lot better. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna explode this year. I got a lot of faith in the Detroit Lions. I'm going Detroit. The West or the South, the Atlanta Falcons. I agree. This has been Bucs territory for a while, but there's been no competition. Kirk Cousins, he just wins games, man. He's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's going to retire from the NFL worth $1 billion, winning 1 billion games, and have maybe 2 playoff wins under his belt. And you know what? That's a great career for Kirk Cousins, because to be honest, That's exactly what we all thought he was going to do, and that's what he did. So shout out to Kirk Cousins. I'm going the Falcons. The West, the 49ers with these. This is not a competition. This is the 49ers division. I get it. It's a good division, but I'm going 49ers. The East, I'm going the Eagles. You're going to hear from me in a second, and I might be foreshadowing a little bit too much, but I am very down on the Cowboys. I don't think this is a Cowboys year at all. In fact, I think this is the beginning of the end of where the Cowboys are, and there's going to be some tough roads ahead down in Dallas and Jerry World. So I'm going Eagles as my winner in the East. Next is the wild card. We'll go the AFC first. You got 3 wild card teams. Hit me with them.
Yeah, I do agree that Josh Allen and the Bills aren't going to fall off entirely. I know that his wide receiver room is questionable, but to be completely honest, I like Keon Coleman and I like Josh Allen that much too. I think they're still a playoff team this year. Baltimore Ravens, even though I don't have them winning the division, I do have them making the playoffs. It's Lamar Jackson, and it's a similar situation to Cincinnati that as long as Lamar is out there, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a team that's going to be in the thick of things. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. And you know what? It might be a little bit of homerism, but I just feel like the roster and the defense is too good. So I'm going to take the Steelers to be that 7th and final playoff team.
Yeah, I'm the exact same situation as you, but just with my different divisional winners. So the Bengals are my team. I think they creep in. I think they're 1 game off from, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Baltimore Ravens win like 13 games this year and the Bengals win like 12. And they just don't make the play, or they don't win the division because of something like that. And then they get the first wild card spot. The second wild card spot, the Miami Dolphins. I'm not high on Tua, but they're going to win games. And they're also going to edge out everybody else. Like, they're not going to have a worse record than the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not going to have a worse record than the Los Angeles Chargers or the Tennessee Titans, no matter how many times people want to bold predict them in there. You want to know a team we are forgetting, though? The New York Jets.
Yeah. I didn't forget them. I just didn't put them in.
I agree.
I know who they are. Honestly, I predicted them to beat the Steelers in week, I believe it's 7 that they go head to head. But yeah, I think that they're still the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is fine, but the team around him is not that much better than it was last year or the year before that.
I agree. I don't think the Jets are the Jets are the Jets, man. They're the Browns are the Browns. The Jets are the Jets. They just do Jet things and they lose. So I'm going Dolphins as my second. I'm going Steelers as my third. Mike Tomlin gets you to the playoffs. He wins football games. He's got to prove a lot this year, but I know that the quarterback competition is weird and the wide receiver room stinks, but I just think there's enough here to make it work and to have some fun. And Mike Tomlin's going to win when you need him to win. And I wouldn't be surprised if they squeak out a win against like Kansas City late in the season or Philadelphia late in the season or Cincinnati late in the season, just to be like, all right, we're in. There it is. So I'm going Bengals, Dolphins, Steelers as my AFC wildcard teams. NFC, you got 3 of them. Who you got?
Yeah, 2 of them are pretty cut and dry, pretty simple. I'm going with the Packers and I'm going with the Eagles, 2 playoff teams from last year. I just think that there's still playoff teams going into this year. And then in my last spot, and this might be a hot take, this might be something that a lot of people disagree with, I'm going with the Chicago Bears in that 7th and final spot. I think that they have a lot of good receivers. I think Caleb's going to be pretty good this year. I think they got a good offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron. And I think they were 7-10 last year with a lot of those things not going in the right direction. So with the fact that I also believe the rest of the field is kind of weak, I'm going to go with the Bears. It's a long shot. It's a money play on DraftKings, but I'm going to say that they squeak into the playoffs this year.
Yep. So I'm going the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
I'm feeling good on the Packers. I mean, they're going to get there. They're not going to miss the playoffs. They're not going to beat the Lions, but they're not going to miss the playoffs. My number 2 here is the Los Angeles Rams. I think they get in there. I have a hard time. Matt Stafford, if he's got 1 year left, he's going to put up a fight. They're going to get to where they need to get to. That offense looks good. Sean McVay knows how to win football games. Like, I'm not worried about the Rams. They'll get to the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but they'll get to the playoffs. This is where I'm down on the Cowboys, my friend, because I think that they get surpassed by the team you just mentioned, the Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay.
I think Chicago makes it. I am very big on the Chicago Bears this year. I know a lot of people want to say, oh, they're terrible first pick in the draft. They strategically lucked themselves into the first pick in the draft. 7-9 is very close to, like, it might only take 3 more wins to get you into the playoffs. And I get it. That 3 wins is big, but that 3 wins could be caught up by Roma Dunze, by Kyle or Keenan Allen, by a better offensive line, by DeAndre Swift. You got another year of Cole Kmet. You made a trade last season that playoff teams make this season to go get Josh Sweat. Like, that's not a trade that teams who have the first pick in the draft go and make. It's a trade that would likely happen this year at the break because some teams looking to make the playoffs and they need that push. And the Bears just did it a year early. So I'm going Bears. I think they get in there. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win a Super Bowl. I don't even think they're going to win a playoff game, but I do think that they're going to get themselves into the postseason. And I don't see the Cowboys finding themselves in the playoffs this year. I think this is the beginning of the end to Dallas and Jerry World down there. Let's talk about game time. I could still taste the popcorn and the soda and smell the beer of my first Pittsburgh Steelers game. And yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars might have won that day, but I will never forget how loud Heinz Field was and how rocking that stadium was on the North Shore. Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes things like getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I have an upcoming concert in Cleveland the day after the Pittsburgh Steelers play against the Browns, and instead of sitting there clicking on every single section, I'm just going to use Game Time Picks. Let's talk about why it's so great. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. On top of that, you get all-in pricing, which means that you get the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. On top of that, you get seat views because nobody wants to buy some nosebleed seats for cheap and take a guess on whether you're staring at a pole or you just got the greatest deal in the entire venue. Plus, the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage means that your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ALLSTEELERS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ALLSTEELERS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, low prices, guaranteed. All right, so our playoff bracket is set. Let's go AFC, NFC championship games before we give you guys our Super Bowl. Let's start with the NFC. Your NFC championship game.
Yeah, I think San Francisco is going to be tough to contend with this year, especially since they have all those pieces back. It feels like they're ready to try to run it back for another season. The Eagles are going to be tough. The Packers are going to be tough, but this year, I think they were so close to getting it last year. They learned their lessons. They, took their medicine, as it were. And I think Detroit gets there this year. I think they finally do it. They head down to New Orleans, and Dan Campbell is, eating Applebee's boneless wings and gnawing off kneecaps all the way down to New Orleans.
I like that. I wish I could agree with you. I'm going Lions. I think Lions get there. I do think Lions get there, but I think the other one is the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the team that find themselves in the NFC champ. That team's just good, man. Everybody, like you said it yesterday, I'm not up on Nick Sirianni. I'm a big Nick Sirianni guy. Big Nick Sirianni. Like anybody who has that much passion, you're gonna get them somewhere. You're gonna get somebody riled up for something. I think that offensive line is what carries them. I think the defense only got better this offseason. They look crazy good. And I think Saquon's going to have a year. If he could stay healthy, Saquon's going to have a year. So I'm going Detroit. I'm going Eagles. I think the Eagles sneak their way into the playoff or into the Super Bowl second time in 3 years. And I think they're looking for some revenge with Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts and company over there in good old Philadelphia. The AFC, who you got?
Oh, I mean, it's hard to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs, isn't it? I mean, they've done it so many times, right?
Yes.
Who has beaten them in the AFC Championship game? Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. Now, do I have Joe Burrow winning?
I was going to say Joe Burrow's there.
I do, But at the same time, I feel like this team is better than it was last year. I feel like Patrick Mahomes has better weapons than he did last year. And until I see somebody actually take him down in the playoffs, I'm not going to go against them, especially in their current form. So I got to roll with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't like it, but at the same time, the smart money is on them.
Yeah. So I'm going Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, it's so hard to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs. On the other side of this, I'm going Houston Texans. I'm going Houston Texans find themselves in the postseason in the AFC Championship game. Now I'll toss out a little nugget here. I think the Steelers win themselves a playoff game. I do. I think they end up in the wild card. I think they win a playoff game against. I don't think they're the last one. I don't think they're the last. They're the last seed. I think they're maybe the 6th seed, and they find themselves playing. I don't know. Maybe it would be the Bills. Maybe it would be the Ravens, and they win a game. I think they win a playoff game this year. I think it's Houston versus Kansas City, and I'm going to pull a wild card here. I'm going the Houston Texans find themselves in the Super Bowl. Houston, Philadelphia. It's not the most star-studded, but I think this is the CJ Stroud year. If anybody's going to do it, just like you said, nobody's done it. Joe Burrow is the only one in the NFL that could pull this off. Well, let's see if CJ Stroud could, if he gets his opportunity. I'm going CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And then before the season kickoff, my friend, the big question, who you got winning the Super Bowl good down in good old New Orleans?
So I have Kansas City versus Detroit. Kansas City going for the three-peat, the first team in history to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Will they do it? No. I think it's Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Long history of misery is over. I think the Lions take it back to Detroit this year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That would be awesome. I keep telling him, I've told everybody for a year and a half out here, if Detroit wins the Super Bowl, we're packing up, we're going to the parade, because man, that would be awesome. I'm going the Houston Texans. I love the Philadelphia Eagles team. I think I don't love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me backtrack on that one, but I love their team. I think they got a lot of talent, and I think they get there and they know how to do things. But I think this is CJ Stroud's year. I think this is the Houston Texans year. I think that defense is phenomenal. I think DeMarco Ryans, D'Amico, thank you, is a phenomenal head coach. And I think that offensive line, if they could stay healthy, is good enough to get them exactly where they want to go. Joe Mixon is a sneaky pickup for them from Cincinnati. And even if I don't have a lot of faith in Stephon Diggs, I think Tank Dell and Nico Collins are monsters. So I'm going CJ Stroud, Super Bowl champion this year over the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a tough one to say because I like the Eagles and I think that they have the team for it, but I just don't think they win one this year. I don't think they do. So I'm going the Houston Texans. You got the Detroit Lions out. This would be an awesome year. This would be an awesome NFL season if it did show up this way. We'll see if it does, but it would be pretty phenomenal. I mean, either way, anybody versus anybody who's not the Kansas City Chiefs would be a great Super Bowl, or the Baltimore Ravens. Yuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that'd just be boring, man. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like, okay, cool. The Ravens, awesome. You know, like at least the Bengals, like, you know, you kind of respect them a little bit, and Joe Burrow, but now you got the face.
No, you do. It's still just sour taste in the mouth.
It's not the greatest, you know, but Houston, Philly, Detroit, I'm all about it. What's up, guys? It's football season, and we've teamed up with DraftKings. Right now, new customers who bet $5 will receive $250 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, you'll receive 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. It's hard to think of a better way to celebrate fall weather, your favorite jersey, and Sunday touchdowns than with the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings app and use our promo code ALLSteelers. That's $250 in bonus bets instantly and 1 month of NFL Plus Premium after betting just $5. Stay in the action and use your $250 in bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. DraftKings is the place to bet touchdowns. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You could still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ALLSTEELERS and bet just $5 on any wager and get $250 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ALLSTEELERS only at DraftKings Sportsbook.